Hey there everyone and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be looking through some of the specifics on the Archer class. I don't normally do this, I normally do them for Wizard because I notice these kind of minor details when I'm playing as Wizard. I do play as the other classes too, but I don't play as Archer as much, so I don't notice these kind of things. But anyway, I noticed a few things on the Smokescreen skill, which I thought was worthy of showing in a video. So taking a look at the base skill first of all, it gives you a 90% chance to avoid attacks while you're stood in the mist. The description is a little bit iffy. It says when enemies are stood in it, but it's actually when you're stood in it. You have a 90% chance to avoid attacks. It's only attacks that can be avoided, however, which means there are any elemental attacks, any special attacks, and then when you're in PvP, any skills can't be avoided. It's only basic attacks in PvP, and it's only like the sort of standard attacks from small enemies, basically, in PvE. It's not really that useful as a base skill. But anyway, as you can see by the animation here, it looks very different each time. It's kind of weird the way the mist works, and on later ones they kind of spread out and stuff, but actually from when you use it, there is a circle created somewhere, and that circle is the box where it's working. So I'm going to go through the skill runes in turn and take a look at how each one of them works. And apologies in advance, I've got a cough at the moment, so I'm just going to have to cough now. So the first one I'm going to look at is Lingering Smoke. This one just basically adds some damage and a nice slow. It looks like a tiny little... Oh, okay, the animation messed up that time. So it looks like a tiny red circle when you first equip it. Sorry, when it first comes out, and then it spreads out from there. That's pretty much how this one works. So as you can see, tiny little circle, and it spreads out. Hit those two things down there. It hasn't hit this. It spreads out. You can see it kind of almost gets there, but not quite. So I'm stood in this spot because it's a really good example of where you're placing the Lingering Smoke. So each one of them works slightly differently. Well, I say that, basically, they can kind of work one of two ways. Either directly beneath you, or the smoke screen is placed just to the side of you. So as you can see, this time it hit that target dummy thing over to the left, and that's because the Lingering Smoke was started on my left-hand side. The other times it was sort of up to the right, down beneath. You can see here, yeah, this is, that one was almost directly below, or maybe just behind. So that doesn't hit this over here because the circle doesn't quite hit it. So it actually varies very slightly, depending on which side of you it lands. That's where the circle will go out from, and, you know, whether or not it will hit enemies. It's very, very slight, but I thought it was worth mentioning because I thought it was interesting how they did this, and how on other screens it's not like this. So anyway, that's Lingering Smoke. When you go to Freezing Mist, it's very much the same. The animation of it, this one is one of the weirdest ones. It does very weird shapes. So here, this clearly landed on my left, and you can see it hit that thing over there. That was actually quite a nice little circle that it created. Remember, in this game, any oval is actually a circle just because of the 3D-ness. That's the way it's been created. So this one, I think it landed behind me, so it hasn't hit this. Well, we're getting some nice circle shapes. Normally, Freezing Mist comes out as like weird sort of boomerang shapes and stuff. No, that's still quite a nice circle. But it clearly went to my left because it's hitting this thing over here. So I don't know how it kind of landed over here, but then the circle was kind of as if it was coming from here. That kind of looks a little bit weirder. It's kind of an S shape on its side. It's turning into a circle. Anyway, so that's Freezing Mist. As you can see, exactly the same as a Lingering Smoke, the way it lands, and that's that. Now we go to Renewal Mist. Renewal Mist is more of a defensive one. It gives you a healing, and still got that slow as well that the other two screens I just showed have. So this one was designed for PvP, and basically it lands directly beneath you. It also creates the whole area almost immediately, so you can see the area it's affecting. You can see where you can stand in it to get heals, and enemies, I guess, can see where the slow is going to hit them. It does sort of hit outside of it a bit, and it might not be clear. Like for here, see, it's all concentrated here, but it's actually affecting this bit here too. It's always a bit tricky. So anyway, the animation for this, it's working right now, but in the past when I've tested it, and I've seen and heard and stuff, that sometimes it lasts for more than 10 seconds. This is just a visual bug. It just shows it's lasting for more than 10 seconds. However, actually, it's only lasting 10 seconds. So in PvP, when you've got the cooldown going, which is like I have now, I have cooldown potion on, you can use it every 13 seconds, and I think it lasts about 15 seconds when it's bugging out, so it can look like they have constant mist, but actually there is that gap between them. Anyway, I mentioned that I wanted to, something I wanted to mention about with the healing is that this heals you 6 times. It doesn't say how many it does, but it's actually 6. It heals you on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th second, then the 6th, 8th, and 10th. So there's 3 quick heals. There's a tiny space at the beginning where you're not getting healed. Then you get 3 quick heals, and then you get 3 slow heals. I'll just count it this time. So as you can see, 1st, 2nd, nothing. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, space, 6th, space, 8th, space, 10th. So there we were. There were the 6 heals. So that's Gurun, everything you want to know about that one. And then finally I'm going to talk about Dark Mist. So Dark Mist is one which I really like because it gives a hefty amount of damage reduction, which is less important in PvP because they all have some damage reduction there. And it also does a fear effect. So it does no damage, and when you create it, this actually has the I said earlier on Freezing Mist does, but no, Dark Mist has the weirdest hitbox. As you can see, this is like a big cloud up here, there's like a little bit over here, but it's actually, you know, a circle. Almost every time you make this, it kind of drifts upwards. All the mist drifts upwards, and it's not very clear where it's landing. However, this isn't so important because it's probably not the best one to use in PvP anyway, because Renewal Mist is kind of the best one in there. But you're actually going to see the fear effect is around you rather than the mist. So actually, once you apply this, you can then just run through the enemies and it will fear them. It basically, for the next 10 seconds, anything nearby you gets feared, which means all the little enemies that are melee literally can't hurt you. You can run anywhere you like and they'll just run away from you. So now I'm just going to quickly show, I won't bother showing the other screens actually. I was going to go into the event and show you how they're all working, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to waste your time. So yeah, they all just work in the mist bit. It's only Dark Mist which works like this. And I'm just going to show it up here where there are lots of enemies. I actually use this area for a lot of testing because there's infinitely spawning little guys. Just going to get rid of the range enemies because they're going to be annoying. Oh, whoops! Didn't mean to. Got the set effect on. Oh, we are lagging up a bit. I guess it's because I'm recording. That's probably it. And it can't exactly like loads of enemies on the screen while I'm recording. So anyway, as you can see, there are loads of enemies there. So I'm going to put Dark Mist on, and then if I just run through them, they all run away. There was one enemy there who was fear immune, the bigger guy. So he attacked me, but yeah, as you can see, this is where Dark Mist can get really, really strong, because it can obviously help you tank massively. But for those 10 seconds, it doesn't even matter if you run away from it. Just all the melee enemies, they can't attack you. And with the cooldown potion, there's only 3 seconds. You can see they're all running over. Nope, they're running away. So anyway, that's why I love Dark Mist. And when I noticed that this fear effect is actually from you rather than Mist, I just had to show that in a video. This is the main reason why I made this video, to be honest. So anyway, that was everything I wanted to go through. If you want to know the distance of this fear effect, you can see here it's hitting those even there. I'll just try actually on these guys. On these bottles. Where's it? Kick in. Okay, so it's about that distance. Yeah, about that distance. That's how far the fear effect goes. So it's in a circle like that. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you in the next one.